What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Next Gen Madden 25 video on my PS4. Please do me a favor, take a moment, hit the like button for me, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Your criticism is welcomed in the comments section. As always, I'll play this for you at speed. I ask you to give me a follow on Twitter. My username is Shutdown Safety. Also, like the video on Twitter. I get a lot of redirects when you guys do that, so take that extra second to force it out into the Twitter and give me a little bit more support. Help spread the word on these videos if you don't mind. I'm going to do a comparison today with defensive back interactions between Madden 25 Next Gen and All-Pro Football 2K8, because I see this play here happening far too frequently. And in this example, I've got Larry Fitzgerald, 6'3", versus Janoris Jenkins, 5'10", and in your 2K8 example, you're going to see Mackenzie Frizzell, a generic receiver, versus a gold cornerback in Dick Lane. And I tried to do this evenly, if you will. I've got, a superstar receiver here versus, maybe not the best cornerback in the world. In All-Pro Football 2K8, I had an all-star corner, one of the best corners ever, versus a very, generic, average receiver in Mackenzie Frizzell. Now, I'm going to just play this out here, and I will say, in All-Pro Football, you're going to see a bump and run coverage. I tried to do that in Madden, and it just did not work. Janoris Jenkins just slammed his feet in the ground and got smoked every time. But you see here the position that's being played. The defensive back is basically a step ahead of Fitzgerald, and he's running in pursuit. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. I'm going to play the All-Pro Football clip, and then we're going to come back and see how Madden deals with the same situation. Alright, so here we have All-Pro Football 2K8, and again, I just want to take a second to reiterate, this is a console generation behind what we just saw, developed from 2K5, which is 2 generations behind what we just saw, and we're still having comparisons to these interactions. And what I've done here is I've got Dick Lane, one of the best cornerbacks in the history of the NFL, Mackenzie Frizzell, a generic receiver in the game, to show you no matter what the disparity is between the players, you still don't have things occurring the way they do in Madden. You still have players playing their position. And if we were going to try to make this game better, we're going to have discussions for days on how terribly Dick Lane reads this slant. He runs out, puts both his feet in the ground, turns around, but I just want you to notice what we get back to here. The position of Lane on the outside, Frizzell on the inside, and now Lane is going to defend this pass. You can see that Lane has a little bit of a head step on him. You can see that he puts his hand back here. You could actually see the animation change there. He puts his hand back on his hip, and he's going to try to shield out Frizzell from catching this ball. Now he's not getting his body in front of him, but he's just shielding Frizzell. He has to run through Lane to catch the pass. The pass is going to come in. Obviously, Frizzell's going to be slowed a little bit because Lane's up in front of him. The deflection comes in, and by the way, just so you know, here comes the safety. Again, the safety, the cornerback, they're not trained receivers. The safety comes in. He's going to come in, make the hit. You don't have 3 people trying to have a catching interaction here. You've got 2 players playing their defensive position first, and then making a play on the ball, and then a play on the receiver. Go back to Madden, take a look at how things work their way out there. All right, so here we are, back with Madden. Again, very similar positioning on the field, and you're going to see Jenkins come across here and intercept this pass. And there's just no way in real life you're going to be able to have a defensive back cut up under and across a wide receiver this way. It just does not happen. Defensive backs do not catch. They don't practice all day catching. They don't practice route running unless they're covering a receiver. And you can see here this interception pans out because he's able to cut up in front of a much bigger player. The receiver has no rights to the ball in the air, which is absolutely absurd, and basically just stands there in a catching animation while the defensive back aggressively attacks the ball, and without even really touching the defensive back or the receiver. These players don't interact at all. Jenkins just cuts up in front, walks away with the interception. So again, I'm not saying this happens every single time, but it happens far too often. It's completely unrealistic. A majority of your slant interceptions are done this way, I guarantee you. I appreciate you taking time to check out this video. I'll be back in the week with more content.